Do Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer deserve a spot in the Asia Cup squad?
In the last couple of days, if you've been reading the news, there have been a lot of people talking about some names that might potentially be part of the T20 squad in the Asia Cup. And most of these headlines have been hogged by the return of Shreyas Iyer and Shubman Gill, especially Shubman Gill, because he might even be part of the leadership group. Now, this conversation is really important because from the outside, it almost feels like these two players might be forced into a batting unit that seems perfect because of how many matches we have won so far. But before we start talking about these players and to even see if they have any merit to be part of that India squad, hit the subscribe button.
There's a lot of spotlight around how Shreyas Iyer needs to be back into that T20 squad. He's done everything right, and this is something we will break down through numbers, but be it for the Mumbai team or for his franchise teams in KKR as well as Punjab Kings, Shreyas Iyer has barely set a foot wrong. For starters, Shreyas Iyer was the captain of the Mumbai team in the Syed Mushtaq Ali tournament that they won recently. He also did well with the bat, being the 4th highest run getter in the tournament. In the 9 innings that he played, he scored 345 runs at an average of 49.2 and a strike rate of 188. And if his accolades for Mumbai weren't enough, we all know how well he's done in the IPL. Captaining the KKR side in 2024, he led them to the title, and when he moved to the Punjab Kings in 2025, he ensured that they reached the final. In fact, he also had a brilliant IPL 2025 with the bat. He was the 6th highest run scorer in that tournament, playing 17 innings, getting 604 runs at a very impressive average of 50.3 and a strike rate of 175. He also got 650s, and something that we will get into later on is how well he played these innings and what pressure situations he came under. With Shreyas Iyer, something that's also been an improvement, especially over the last couple of seasons, is his power hitting and his T20 game. Something that was a criticism that Shreyas Iyer often faced was that in the T20 format, he was especially slow to get his innings going. However, that's something that he's absolutely flipped around. Since the IPL of 2024, there are two things that have changed. Not only has Shreyas Iyer become a lot more consistent, but he's also upped his strike rate drastically. To put it into context, in the 32 innings that he's played across IPL 2024 and 25, he scored 955 runs. This too at an average of 45.4 and a strike rate of 163.5. To see how much of an improvement this is, if you look at his career in IPL up until 2024, you'll realize that these numbers are outstanding. Where across 101 matches, he had an average of just 31 and a strike rate of just 125. That is a drastic improvement.
Something that we have seen with Shreyas Iyer once he became the captain of the IPL teams is the fact that he takes ownership to score important runs for the team. Not just while batting first, but especially while batting second. He either says not out, making sure that the team is chasing the target, or is the highest run scorer of the team. Now, since the IPL of 2024, Shreyas Iyer has scored 35 plus in the IPL 11 times. Now, out of these 11 times, Shreyas Iyer has been able to do this 4 times under pressure situation. Now, according to us, a pressure situation is defined by a wicket and 25 runs, which means when a batter is walking into bat with an interval of 25 runs every time a wicket falls. Now, to be able to do this 4 times in itself is very impressive, but out of the 11 times that he scored 35 plus, he's been only dismissed 5 times. In fact, he's been only dismissed under 50 runs just once. And out of all the times he stayed not out, there have been 5 occasions where he stayed not out while chasing a target, which only means that he's able to not only anchor the innings but finish the game for the team. And not just this, he's also someone who you can rely on while batting in the first innings, because out of all the occasions that he's batted first, there have been 4 times where he has been the highest run scorer for the team. And of course, if you're talking about Shreyas Iyer, part of the India squad, he will predominantly, or hopefully when he does get a chance, bat at number 3 or 4. And even here, if you look at his numbers while playing for Mumbai or the IPL since 2024, are extraordinary. Batting at number 3, he has an average of 50 and a strike rate of 184. And batting at number 4, he has an average of close to 50 and a strike rate of 150 plus. All of these numbers are very, very impressive, so you would wonder, why wouldn't Shreyas Iyer be part of that India squad?
Because India have Suryakumar Yadav and Tilak Verma currently in that T20 squad. Now, what has been the case ever since Suryakumar Yadav took over as the Indian captain is that Tilak Verma has gotten a lot of chances at number 3, but also Suryakumar Yadav has batted at 3 in some of these innings. What has happened is that India has been able to play really well and in fact has not lost a single series under Suryakumar Yadav, the captain. And that begs the question, if Shreyas Iyer were to come in, have any of these batters done anything wrong to be replaced? Firstly, looking at Suryakumar Yadav, there is no doubt that he's an absolutely prolific run scorer when it comes to T20 cricket. If anything, he is one of India's best, if not the best ever T20 batter that we've produced. However, in the recent past, there has been a little bit of lull in his international form. In the 21 matches that he has played, his average has been 23 in this period and his strike rate is still up at 150 plus. While he has got 450s, this is not as good as we've seen Suryakumar Yadav play, at least for India. And we looked at every time that he's come out and scored 35 plus for the Indian team. This has happened on 5 occasions and every time India has gone on to win the match. So definitely even if Surya Kumar Yadav has come in and not performed, whereas when he's come in and scored runs, India have won matches. In the IPL as well, while the 2024 season was not as good as we've seen him be, the 2025 season was really good. Overall in these 2 seasons, he's played 27 matches where he's got over 1000 runs at an average of 50 plus and a strike rate of 167. He's also got 108 50s in this period. And coming into this IPL, there would have been a little bit of pressure on Surya Kumar Yadav. And this is simply because of the fact that he hadn't had the best run with India and it was important for him as well as India for him to get runs. And because of the season he's had, there's no doubt that he should continue as the Indian captain. In fact, India is yet to lose a series under the captaincy of Surya Kumar Yadav in the T20 setup. And more importantly, in the 22 matches where he has been the captain, India have lost just 4 times. And by no means have we been beating minnows during this period. India has played series against Australia, South Africa and even England, and we've emerged victorious in all of these. Another thing that stands out with Surya Kumar Yadav is that he is the man for pressure situations. We looked at Sky's performances since 2024 where he scored 35 plus. He's done this on 15 different occasions, and out of these, in 7 occasions he's come in under pressure situations. That means that almost 50% of the times when Surya Kumar Yadav is put into a pressure situation, he's usually able to score the runs and take his team out of trouble. Not only this, he is also someone who can play the long innings, as out of these 15 occasions, he's been the highest scorer for the team on 8 of these different occasions. And so if you look at Surya Kumar Yadav's resume, there's nothing that he's done wrong to be removed from captaincy, but also from his batting position. As a captain, he can choose where he wants to bat, either at 3 or 4, but more importantly, he should continue not only for the Asia Cup, but also for the upcoming T20 World Cup.
This is why we come to another batter who in the ICC rankings at one point was the number 2 batter. He will potentially be the number 3 batter for the Indian team, but was being moved around in the batting order for Mumbai Indians, and that's Tilak Varma. Tilak Varma has had a fantastic start to his Indian T20 international career so far. In the 10 matches that he has played, he averages 70 plus with a strike rate of more than 160. In this, he already has 200s and 150. In fact, when he was struggling at the number 4 position, he asked Surya Kumar Yadav to be promoted at number 3 and then got back-to-back hundreds. What's more fascinating is the fact that in these 10 innings, he's crossed 35 plus only thrice. But in all 3 occasions, not only was he not out, it was in these 3 occasions where he got his 200s and that 150. Tilak Varma in this year's IPL was a mixed bag because he didn't really get a position in the batting order that suited him. But since 2024, every time he batted number 3 and 4, he's done really well. In the 12 occasions that he did bat at number 3 and 4 for the Mumbai Indians, he's had an average of 42 with a strike rate of 160, and in these 12 innings, he also has 4 half centuries. But what is more important is to see how Tilak Varma has done under pressure. 6 out of 8 times he scored 35 plus. He's been the highest run scorer for the team. Out of these 8 times that he did score 35 plus, 5 of them were under pressure, which only goes to show that he is a batter capable and has the temperament even in the T20 format to not just score big but to also bat under pressure. Now with Tilak Varma individually, he hasn't put a step wrong for the Indian team in the 10 matches he has played, but more importantly, for the Mumbai Indians, he has been one of the most consistent players in the last couple of seasons. And for a left-hander that he is, it makes absolute no sense for the Indian team for now to drop him and to look at someone else as an option.
And this is where we come down to Shreyas Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav as well as Tilak Varma. 3 of these players are going to be fighting for 2 spots, but it's all but obvious that these 2 players, Tilak Varma as well as Surya Kumar Yadav, should be getting the numbers 3 and 4. Now apart from the numbers, it's also important to see how these 3 batsmen fare when it comes to pressure situations. While we have seen that they've done well in a lot of occasions, it's also important to see how many times they've struggled. Batting at 3 or 4 becomes a very important position, and so it is crucial not only to be able to have the ability to play out a new ball, but also to play out a spell and to carry the team out of trouble. Firstly, with Shreyas Iyer, the one thing that we noticed is that 8 times there have been situations where he's walked into pressure and he's failed. Now what this shows is that Shreyas Iyer on a given day can be very hot and cold, where either he can come in and he can play till the end of the innings and win you the chase, or he can come in and just get dismissed quickly. Whereas if you look at both Surya Kumar Yadav as well as Tilak Varma, something that you'll see is that they've only failed 5 times under pressure. And objectively, if you look at this, you would rather want Surya Kumar Yadav or Tilak Varma at that number 3 or 4 position when it comes to pressure situations. Here's the thing, right? They are less hot and cold and they're more reliable and consistent when it comes to just ensuring that they're holding their place at the crease. The added benefit of having a Tilak Varma in the squad is that he's a left-handed batter. And because of the fact that our openers are also right-left-hand combinations, depending on the position or who gets out, Tilak Varma can be floated either at 3 or at 4. The added benefit of having Tilak Varma is that he can also ball a few overs of spin. Not that India is going to need it, but it's just a good option to have. And because of all of these reasons, it really makes sense to have Shreyas Iyer in the squad that is picked for the Asia Cup, but does he warrant a place in that playing 11? Probably not.
Now the other news floating around is the fact that Shubman Gill, not only him being part of the T20 squad, squad, but potentially being the vice captain of the T20 team. Now, when you talk about Shubman Gill, the batter, you already know he's going to open in the white ball format because that's what he does, not only for the Indian team, but also for the Gujarat Titans in the IPL. Since the IPL of 2024, Shubman Gill has played 27 matches, has scored more than 1,000 runs with an average of 44 and a strike rate of 152. In this period, he also has 108 50s. When you look at these numbers, you already know he can bat in the T20 format. He did have a lot of criticism a couple of years ago, but all that's gone away because of how he's done in the IPL. And he is someone who you already know can bat under the load of captaincy or vice captaincy because he did that in the test format, but he's already doing that for the Gujarat Titans as the captain. But this is also why we come to the current Indian openers and talk about their performance, because a lot of people are talking about why would you break their partnership and bring in someone like a Shubman Gill. Abhishek Sharma and Sanju Samson have played 17 matches for the Indian team as openers. They've both scored more than 500 runs. Both of them have an average of more than 30, but what is all the more impressive is if you look at the strike rates. Abhishek Sharma has a strike rate close to 200, whereas Sanju Samson has a strike rate of 178. If both of your openers have a strike rate of more than 170, you already know that you're going to get a blistering start from them. Now, although a lot of people think that Abhishek Sharma didn't have the best of years in the IPL this year, he's had a better average this year as compared to 2024. He also scored his first IPL 100 this year. In fact, since IPL 2024, he's had an average of 32, a strike rate of 198, which is insane. He's had 105 50s. Now, when you look at Sanju Samson in the IPL, he really hasn't opened all that much. Since IPL of 2024, he's only opened on 7 occasions, where he has an average of 37 and a strike rate of 143. But when you look at his overall numbers, they're still decent. But across 25 games, he scored more than 800 runs with an average of 42 and a strike rate of 148. The initial criticism of Sanju Samson not being as consistent is slowly going away, because if you look at his averages, not just for the IPL but also in the Indian team, they're decent enough for you to have enough confidence that you would know that Sanju Samson will at least score 30 and 40 runs.
And this is where we get to if Gill deserves a spot at the opening place and if he's going to be replacing either Sanju Samson or Abhishek Sharma. Now, the only reason you look at Shubman Gill in the opening slot is because Abhishek Sharma and Sanju Samson together as a partnership have done horrendously. In the 12 matches, they just averaged 22 as a partnership and have just got 150 plus stand. The caveat, however, is that one of them usually goes on to play a long innings. And so it will depend on whether or not the Indian team wants to continue with their current style of play, where they're okay with this explosive style of play and not necessarily focusing on long partnerships. The other thing also is that if Gill were to replace either of these players, you lose out on multiple roles. And even if Gill replaces Sanju Samson, then you're going to be looking at the middle order to fit in a wicketkeeper. And where do you do that? It's a packed middle order. There is already people fighting for the spot. You have established players there like a Hardik Pandya or a Shivam Dube or even your Rinku Singh who comes in the finishing role. And so that becomes just a lot more of a headache. Whereas if Shubman Gill were to replace Abhishek Sharma, the first thing that you lose is a left-handed batter. Given Gautam Gambhir's love for left-right combos, as well as the added ability that Abhishek Sharma can give you a few overs of spin and not just any left-arm orthodox at that, it really does become yet another headache. And lastly, when this squad has been doing so well, when they haven't lost a single series, why would you want to tamper around with any of the combinations in the squad? This has been a video on what we think about these rumors and whether or not these two players should get a place in the squad or in the playing 11s. If you found this video interesting, definitely drop a like, share this with your friends, and also leave a comment down below on what you think the combination should look like. Lastly, hit that subscribe button and also hype this video if you can so that we can push it out to a lot more people. We've also started memberships for people interested in content exactly like this and a lot more. Our memberships will include live streams, some in-depth conversations, and also a lot more analysis. So if you're interested in any of this, definitely check the membership out. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.